They told you that money and spirit don't mix, that to desire more is greed, that to want abundance is vanity. But they were wrong. You weren't born to scrape by. You weren't born to worship lack. You were born to create, not in suffering, but in power. You were born to think like God and move like man, to channel the invisible into the visible. Every empire, every invention, every fortune, it all began with something unseen, a thought, a vision, an inner certainty. The printing press didn't fall from the sky. It emerged from a man who saw beyond the mud and into the fire. Electricity? It wasn't discovered. It was demanded by minds who refused darkness. Carnegie didn't inherit steel. He thought it into form. Ford didn't stumble into the assembly line. He saw what didn't yet exist and moved the earth until it did. You are no different. You carry within you a divine ability, not just to survive, but to direct life itself, to think in harmony with the laws of the universe and receive in full the results of that harmony. And yet, most people think backwards. They try to manipulate matter with more matter. They chase money instead of mastering mind. They beg for opportunity instead of becoming the source of opportunity. Listen closely. The world of spirit and the world of material are not enemies. They are reflections. Two sides of the same eternal law, as within, so without. When you align your thoughts with the frequency of abundance, not as hope, but as law, you begin to unlock what was always yours. Not through hustle alone, not through blind effort, but through spiritual clarity, through unwavering thought, through quiet dominion over self. Most people live from reaction, not creation. They wake up and check their phone. They scroll through strangers' lives. They feel behind before the day even begins. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But understand this: the mind that is governed by the outside world can never govern the inside one. And if you cannot command your thoughts, you will never command your life. This is where it begins, the spiritual foundation, not religion, not superstition, but the realization that your mind is sacred territory, that every thought is a seed and your life is its harvest. There is no such thing as a neutral thought. Every idea you entertain is either building or destroying. Every belief you adopt is either opening or closing the gates to wealth, love, impact, and peace. So you must take back the pen. Stop reading the script handed to you by mediocrity. Write a new one rooted in truth. You are not a victim of economy. You are not limited by upbringing. You are not subject to trends, policies, or noise. You are a spiritual being, gifted with the ability to think deliberately, consistently, and with purpose. And it is through that thought that you receive, not once, not by accident, but by law. This is not theory. It is the same law that moves the planets, seasons, tides. It is the law that built the fortune of every self-made titan, not because they were smarter, but because they were certain. They didn't wonder if wealth would come. They knew it would, because they became the cause of it. They didn't wait for signs. They became the signal. And this is your task now, to think with such spiritual strength that the material world must obey. Clarity is power. Most people drift not because they're weak, but because they're vague. They want more money, a better life, success. But the universe doesn't respond to vague longing. It responds to specific vision. Wallace D. Wattles said, To think what you want to think is to think truth regardless of appearances. Think about that. Not what the world tells you is possible. Not what the numbers say. Not what fear allows. But what you choose to believe regardless of what you see. This is the power of spiritual thought. It does not depend on conditions. It creates them. You must begin to see your desire as already formed. Not in imagination, but in certainty. You don't wish for it. You claim it. You don't ask if, you decide when. You walk into the house you've not yet bought. You speak with the confidence of the future self who's already arrived. You train your emotions to match the reality you've declared. And what happens? Reality bends. The clients show up. The doors open. The chaos begins to organize itself around your inner order. Not because you begged, but because you believed and moved accordingly. But belief without discipline is fantasy. This is where most fall. They hear these words, feel a spark, and then go back to sleep, back to scrolling, back to procrastination, back to the small self that clings to comfort. But let me make it plain. There is no manifestation without movement. There is no abundance without alignment. And alignment is action, daily, deliberate, disciplined. You don't build spiritual power with quotes and journals alone. You build it by showing up when it's boring, by persisting when no one claps, by doing what must be done without drama. Discipline is the bridge between your invisible thought and your visible result. It is the evidence of belief. It is the proof that you expect to receive, because if you truly believed it was coming, you'd prepare like it was already here. Lincoln didn't rise from a log cabin to the White House because he was lucky. He rose because his vision was rooted in something deeper than circumstance. And every decision he made, every late night, every page read, every battle faced, was aligned with that vision. You must do the same. The way you spend your minutes is the way you shape your eternity. The way you speak, the way you think, the way you walk, it must match the level you're asking for. Because the universe does not respond to wishes. It responds to readiness. Gratitude is not a reaction, it's a strategy. When you give thanks only after receiving, you're playing the game backwards. Gratitude is the magnetic force that pulls your desires into reality. It's the vibration of faith. You don't say, "Thank you," because it's polite. You say it because it rewires the brain. It lifts your signal. It aligns you with abundance, now, not later. If you want more, celebrate what's here. Not passively. Not half-heartedly, but deeply, urgently, joyfully. Gratitude is not weakness. It's power. It tells the universe, I already trust you. I already believe, and because of that, I expect more. Now hear this. You are not chasing wealth. You are aligning with it. You are not forcing success. You are becoming it. There is no contradiction between the spiritual and the material unless you create one. They are not enemies. They are partners. Spirit gives rise to thought. Thought gives rise to action. Action gives rise to form. And once you understand this chain, once you live it, there is no limit to what you can receive. Not because you played a trick, but because you played by the real rules. You've been told to grind harder, to hustle until your lungs give out, to bleed for every inch. But grinding without alignment is friction, and friction without fire is just heat wasted. It is not how hard you push that determines the outcome. It is how precisely you align. A man may row his boat with all his strength, but if he rows in the wrong direction, he moves farther from shore. Meanwhile, the man who understands the wind, who sets his sail with skill and awareness, moves twice as fast with half the effort. This is spiritual thinking. This is right thinking. This is how the unseen forces begin to carry you when your inner compass is fixed on true north. You must stop acting from panic and start moving from power. There is a vast difference between motion and creation. One burns you out, the other builds your life. So ask yourself, are you acting from desperation or decision? Are you reacting to the world or commanding it? Are your actions the flailing of fear or the rhythm of mastery? The one who thinks spiritually does not waste energy. He chooses his thoughts the way a sculptor chooses his chisel. She selects her words the way a queen chooses her crown. Every gesture, precise. Every hour, intentional. Every step, aligned. This is not mysticism. This is mastery. Vision is the lens through which destiny comes into focus. You are not poor because of a lack of resources. You are poor because of a lack of vision. Look around. Everything you see was once invisible. The buildings, the systems, the fortunes, the devices in your hands, all of it began inside someone's mind. Before there were facts, there was faith. Before the world could believe, someone had to see, and the same power rests in you. The tragedy is that most people see only with their eyes, but the spiritual man sees with his belief. He closes his eyes to the noise and opens his mind to the truth. And the truth is this: you do not attract what you want. You attract what you expect. Desire alone is not enough. A beggar desires food. A king expects a feast. So what are you? A wanderer waiting for crumbs, or a creator shaping kingdoms with your mind? If you want to receive materially, you must first decide spiritually. Not hope, not wish. Decide, and then act as if it were already real. This is not fake it till you make it. This is faith it until you manifest it. There's a difference. Fake is hollow. Faith is electric, and the universe knows the difference. Purpose is the gravity that pulls your success into orbit. Without purpose, you drift. Without purpose, even achievement feels empty. But with purpose, every breath matters. Every sunrise is sacred. Every setback becomes sacred training. To think spiritually means to root every action in something greater than you. It is no longer about impressing or competing or proving. It is about expressing fully, boldly, divinely. When Edison failed 10,000 times, he wasn't chasing a paycheck. He was answering a calling. When Disney was laughed out of every office, he didn't stop because they doubted. He moved because his vision demanded it. Purpose made them immortal. And you must find what electrifies your spirit the same way. You must ask, what would I create if fear vanished? What would I do if I trusted the voice inside more than the noise outside? Because once you hear that inner voice, once you truly listen, you will never again settle for comfort over calling. Adaptability is not weakness, it is evolution. The spiritually aligned person is not rigid, they are fluid. They bend like water, but they do not break. You will face storms. You will be misunderstood. There will be days where the vision feels far and the world feels close. That is not failure, that is formation. Steel is not forged in ease. It is hammered, shaped, beaten, burned, until it becomes indestructible. Likewise, Every disruption you face is either a wall or a weight. You can let it block you, or you can use it to grow. The one who thinks spiritually does not crumble under pressure. They transform it. Obstacles? They are not signs to quit. They are invitations to level up, to refine the thought, to reinforce the belief, to remember who you are and who you're becoming. The caterpillar must dissolve into chaos before it becomes the butterfly. So too must parts of you dissolve, the ego, the doubt, the small self, for the greater self to emerge. Resilience is not grinding, it is grace under fire. You must learn to walk through storms with your head unbowed. Not because you are numb, but because you are rooted. Rooted in principle. Rooted in knowing. Rooted in the truth that no matter how loud the wind screams, the mountain does not move. When Lincoln stood in the face of national collapse, he didn't bend to popularity. He stood in principle. When every voice said, "You can't," he replied with the silent thunder of "Watch me." You must do the same. You must remember, this path is not always loud. Sometimes it is a quiet walk through hell, with heaven still burning in your heart. It is persistence without applause, discipline without drama. It is showing up again, and again, and again, not because the world sees, but because you see. This is spiritual power. This is how you receive what others only chase, because while they sleep through life, you build it. While they doubt, you decide. While they react, you create. Learning is not an option, it is a responsibility. You must become obsessed with your own expansion, not for ego, but because stagnation is betrayal. You are a mind, not a machine. A mind must be fed, sharpened, refined, tested. If you knew the power of a single book, a single idea, a single conversation at the right frequency, you would never waste another hour in the swamp of distraction. Read what expands you. Listen to what stretches you. Surround yourself with those who demand your highest. Because the material world you build tomorrow depends entirely on the spiritual nutrients you take in today. And now, we arrive at the edge. The moment where everything converges: thought, belief, vision, discipline, gratitude, purpose, resilience, adaptability, and learning. This is not a motivational checklist. This is a blueprint for dominion. You don't need to chase money. You don't need to beg for peace. You don't need to mimic others' lives. You need only align from within. And then walk, speak, act, and breathe from that place of unshakable clarity. You are not here to wait. You are not here to wish. You are here to wield thought as power, spirit as compass, and matter as obedient clay. This is how you think spiritually and receive materially. The universe does not speak in words, it speaks in energy. And you, through thought, through emotion, through decision, you broadcast that energy with every breath you take. So ask yourself, what are you radiating? Fear or faith? Scarcity or sufficiency? Confusion or clarity? You can't fake your signal. The universe doesn't respond to surface words, it responds to inner conviction. That's why people say affirmations and see no change. Because they say it from their lips, but they doubt it in their spine. To think spiritually means you radiate the result before it appears. You become the vibration of what you seek now. Not when the bank account fills. Not when the applause comes. Not when they finally understand you. Now. You feel wealthy before the money arrives. You walk in peace before the war ends. You lead yourself as if you've already arrived, and reality, slowly and then suddenly, rearranges itself to match, because it must. Because law is law. Just like gravity does not fail, the law of cause and effect does not miss, and your dominant state of being is the cause. The material outcome is the echo, so if you want more, you must become more. Not in status, in spirit. You must feel, think, act, and exist as the version of you who already has it. Not pretend. Not force, but embody. And embodiment is not theater, it's alignment. Most people worship their current conditions. They wake up and make a temple out of their past. They kneel before fear. They sing hymns to limitation. But listen carefully. Facts are not fate, and history is not identity. Your bank balance is a mirror, not a prophecy. Your job title is a name tag, not your name. Your mistakes are pages, not the book. You must stop making idols out of temporary states. Stop letting circumstance write your belief. The spiritually mature mind is not moved by what is, it is governed by what must become. When Nelson Mandela was locked behind concrete walls, he did not lose the vision of a free South Africa. He saw it when others couldn't. He saw it before it was logical. He saw it when the facts screamed, "Give up." But spiritual vision does not consult the temporary. It commands the eternal, and you must do the same. Do not let what's around you blind you to what's within you. Do not let delay make you doubt the law. Do not let struggle distort your signal. You are not here to observe. You are here to transform. Receive boldly. Receive without guilt. You were not meant to be small. You were not meant to dim your light so others don't feel insecure. You were not meant to apologize for excellence. Your spirit is infinite. Your capacity is divine. You are not asking for too much. You are asking too little, too timidly, too conditionally. The universe expands through those who receive fully. Not selfishly, but generously, because they know they are stewards, not hoarders. When you receive materially, you become a lighthouse. You demonstrate what is possible when man aligns with spirit. You feed families, you build legacies, you fund dreams. You break generational cycles of lack, fear, and struggle, not with pity, but with power. So stop rejecting abundance. Stop worshiping lack like it's humility. Poverty is not holy. Martyrdom is not noble. Limitation is not virtue. You honor God, Spirit, Source, not by shrinking, but by expanding, by being fully expressed, by owning your desires with purity, by creating with integrity, by becoming a channel through which material blessings flow. You are the vessel. The cleaner your signal, the greater the supply. So clean the signal. You must examine every belief and ask, who put this here? Every limitation must be interrogated. Every doubt must be dismantled. Every excuse must be exposed. Because what's blocking you is not external. It is internal resistance. You say you want to be wealthy, but deep down, do you believe it's safe? Do you believe it's noble? Do you believe it's yours? You cannot think spiritually while holding on to poisonous beliefs. Scarcity is not a virtue, it is a virus. Envy is not fuel, it is fire that burns the dreamer. Doubt is not wisdom, it is fear in disguise. You must uproot them. One by one, replace them with truth. Plant new thoughts, thoughts aligned with life, growth, purpose, expansion. Because a man cannot build a palace on rotting soil, and you cannot build wealth on mental quicksand. You must till the mind, nourish it. Speak to it with reverence. Say to yourself, not once but daily, I am the cause. I am the channel. I am aligned with divine substance. I receive not by force, but by law. And I give from overflow, not from depletion. Everything responds to inner order. People think it's the economy, the algorithm, the luck of birth. But no, it's inner order. Think of it. You walk into a home in chaos. Dishes stacked, clothes scattered, noise everywhere. And how do you feel? Stressed, drained, unsettled. Now imagine a home that's clear, open, clean, intentional. What do you feel? Peace, possibility, readiness. Your mind is your spiritual home. If it's in chaos, with cluttered thoughts, divided attention, scattered desires, the energy of abundance will not stay. It doesn't stay where it's not respected. You must prepare your mind as sacred space. Let every thought be clean, every belief in order, every desire focused. And once it is, you'll notice something strange. Things move faster. People respond differently. Opportunities find you. Doors open with less effort. Because you've stopped sending mixed signals, you've become a frequency of certainty. And certainty is irresistible. Now, lean in. This is the climax, the turning point. If you forget everything else, remember this. You are not separate from the source. You are an extension of it. And source does not create poverty. Source does not create shame. Source does not run out. So stop living like you're disconnected. Stop praying as if begging. Stop moving as if unworthy. Move like the son of the sun. Move like the daughter of destiny. Move like a spiritual architect building heaven into earth. This world needs more people like you, awakened, aligned, unapologetic, not just thinkers, not just wishers, receivers. The age of passivity is over. The age of divine wealth has arrived. And the only question now is, will you rise and receive what's already yours because it is waiting? Right behind your next bold thought, right under your next decisive act, right within your next unwavering breath, you know what to do. Now go think like a god and build like a human. For that is how you think spiritually and receive materially. Breathe. Feel the weight of these words settle into your chest. This is not theory anymore. This is a reckoning, a return, a remembering of what you've always known but forgot under the noise. You were never designed for mere survival. You were designed for dominion, not over others, not from ego, but dominion over self, over your thoughts, over your choices, over the atmosphere of your life. You are the gatekeeper, and nothing enters or exits your world without your permission. So choose now, and choose with finality. Will you continue to think as the world trained you, small, skeptical, safe? Or will you reclaim the truth that was buried beneath the conditioning, that you are spirit in form, with the power to speak worlds into being? Because you are not here to beg life for favors. You are here to command life with purpose, and not from force, but from alignment, from union with the higher law that governs all things, from the divine certainty that what is yours by right will arrive by law, so long as your thoughts remain true, your actions remain aligned, and your belief remains immovable. This is not hype. This is holy. There are people who will misunderstand this message. They will scoff, dismiss, call it delusion. Let them. They cannot see what you see. They are still living beneath the veil, bound by surface logic, blind to deeper law. But you've seen beyond. You've felt the shift. You've heard the voice inside that says, "There's more," and it's yours. So honor that voice. It is older than fear, older than failure, older than money itself. It is the voice that whispered to Wattles as he wrote The Science of Getting Rich, the same voice that led Hill through decades of study to discover the philosophy of success, the same voice that carried Roosevelt through polio, that lifted Oprah from nothing to global influence, that moved Jobs to dream, Disney to build, and you right now to wake up. You are not imagining this. This call is real, and it will not stop until you answer with your entire life. You don't need permission anymore. You don't need everyone to agree. You don't need credentials to create. You don't need approval to ascend. You need one thing: decision. Once you decide, truly, completely, energetically, everything changes. You become magnetic to resources. You become a signal for synchronicity. You become unavailable for lack, confusion, drama, and delay. Decide now that you will think as a spiritual force, that you will act as one already blessed, that you will walk in the frequency of someone who does not chase, because they know. The spiritually aligned don't need to beg. They simply expect, and that expectation is sacred. It's not arrogance. It's reverence for law. They know the source doesn't run out, so they don't act like they're running out of time. They move slowly, surely, precisely, with boldness wrapped in peace. That's you now. Not frantic, not waiting, aligned. The world is ready for your rise. The world needs more spiritually rich people who are not ashamed of material success. Because with wealth in the right hands, good multiplies. With influence in the right hands, healing spreads. With clarity in the right minds, a new world gets built. You can't help the world by playing small. You can't lift others from a pit if you're still pretending poverty is piety. Let the world see what happens when one soul becomes fully aligned, with spirit as compass, vision as map, belief as engine, discipline as track, gratitude as fuel, and action as proof. Let your life be the sermon. Let your results speak without apology. Let your abundance inspire others to wake up and rise beside you. This is not just about you anymore. It's about legacy. It's about generations. It's about becoming the first link in a chain of transformation that doesn't end with you. You've walked through every stage now, from clarity to belief, from thought to form, from fear to dominion. You have remembered who you are. You have reclaimed what is yours, and now there is only one thing left to do. Receive it, not like a beggar, like a builder, like a thinker, like one who understands that the entire material world bows to the mind that is spiritually aligned. Go now, speak the words of wealth, think the thoughts of power, move with the grace of one who knows, build with the calm of one who is already home. For truly, this is how you think spiritually and receive materially. Let them watch, let them doubt, let them sleep. You have work to do. Your time is now, and you are already chosen.